Here are some tips on harvesting zucchini for you friends. So here's the thing, we all are on this planet to procreate, more or less, biologically speaking, and your zucchini are no exception. So they are constantly wanting to go to seed, and they are making seed every time they're flowering, every time they're fruiting, and the more you harvest them, the more they will continue to produce. But if you stop harvesting them, they'll kind of stop producing. So here's the thing. You have these big oversized zucchini. Maybe that's bigger than what you'd like to eat. I personally love it at that size because it's a little more nutty flavor and it's a little more dense, so it grills up really nicely. But even if you don't want to eat this, definitely harvest it and get it off the plant, because the more it's on this plant, the more it's going to be sucking energy from the plant into its seed production. And as soon as it's set its seed, it's done its deed on the planet and it will stop producing. If you want to keep harvesting zucchini, harvest it, and all of these new young fruit coming on will continue to grow, and it will continue to send out these lovely little zucchini with flowers just waiting to become zucchini. So the more you harvest, the more you'll harvest. And slight disclaimer, we grow seeds here at Fruition Seeds, so I am in fact leaving the zucchini on, and you'll see at the end of the season they will be yellow baseball bats full of seed. I can't wait to show you that end of the experiment as well. But if you're not growing zucchini for seed, you definitely want to harvest them well beforehand. And another thing to keep in mind, where like greens, it's very important, anything green, that you harvest it in the early morning, as early as possible. When it's a fruit, whether it's a tomato, a pepper, a zucchini, it really doesn't matter when you harvest. That it's really not going to be as affected in the same way that leafy greens are. But you don't want the plants to be wet. They are very susceptible to especially fungal diseases that are vectored by water. So you really want to be harvesting them and touching them only when the plants are totally dry. And so here this afternoon, totally dry, totally breezy, beautiful. Now is the perfect time to be harvesting them. And without further ado, another tiny little thought of why to harvest in the afternoon. In general, plants will have more water in them at night than in the day. And that's because if they have more water in them in the day, they'll lose more water with the direct sunlight and the sunshine. And so they send it down to the roots for the daytime and then bring it back up at night. And in the case of leafy greens, especially young baby salad mix, it's really important that you harvest your greens in the morning because they'll be more nutritionally dense, the more turgor pressure with the more water present. But to some degree, I actually prefer to harvest my fruits in the afternoon, especially something like zucchini, because there can be less water in it during the day, especially in the afternoon, than in the morning. And that water, essentially, even though there is nutrients in that water going down into the root, it dilutes the flavor when there's more water, right? So if you harvest it when there's a little bit less water, the flavors are that much more concentrated. And that's just another tiny little reason why harvesting in the afternoon is not the worst and may in fact be marvelous for you. But have fun, harvest your zucchini at different sizes, at different stages, at different times of day. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's just personal preference, and the only way to know is by experimenting. So have fun and let me know what you discover.